You know I try to be a good man. I always give it my best. But truth be told, someday I want to go to the wild, wild west.
And now, live from our Smokehouse studio, it's time for Real Estate Jerky. All your real estate questions answered by our provocatively lean expert hosts. Edward Ed Parco, MBA, veteran, and president of Lending for Living. We'll give you something to chew on. Real Estate Jerky is on now.
Thanks for joining us here on Real Estate Jerky. I'm your host, Ed Parco, president of Lending for Living, along with Marlene Chaplin, my trusty sidekick and co-host. We are on the road keeping things real and relevant throughout Stanislaus, San Joaquin, Merced counties, and into the foothills. Our studio is wherever we have a solid Wi-Fi connection, and our fabulous engineer, Mike Murray, and the incredible radio signal of iHeartMedia and this station, KFIV. We always give you something. One more time. There's my blooper. We always bring you something to chew on here at Real Estate Jerky. The topic of the day always revolves around real estate, investing in our communities, and whatever expands on that or gets in the way of it. So let's go. If you have questions, you can call us at 209-404-1915. You can email us at radio@realestatejerky, and I think we'll have the answers. If not, we'll go find it for you. Hello, Marlene. How you doing today?
I'm great. Guess what we're doing?
On radio.
Actually, one of our favorite projects, yours and mine, is finally moving to the building stage. And this project will change Modesto, really, and all the outlying areas, especially for children and their families, forever.
And what is that?
Come on.
What's going to change forever?
What's your favorite? What's one of our favorite projects? You've been invested since the beginning as well.
Ride for Mom.
Before the Ride for Mom, actually.
Did it really start before Ride for Mom?
It sure did.
Ride for Mom's been around
almost 10 years.
Yeah. So how long is the Awesome Spot
Ride for
playground?
Mom is the Awesome Spot playground. It was been talked about. Well, Chad is a landscape engineer, designer, architect, and he's been trying. That's his specialty. He actually did the TED Talk on it. And so we've been trying for many years here to get something like this. And it's happening. It's finally happening. The Awesome Spot
you're saying this has
playground.
been going on for like 15 years or something? Or
let's see. I would have to go back, but I want to say, we've been raising money for a solid 6 years doing fundraising. So, and now they're moving dirt. Super exciting.
Wow.
And I put it up there in the top projects in our area that have changed and added value to our communities. The things that even the famous folk like George Lucas and stuff mention, about this area, the things that are still here. Beyer Park.
Right.
John Thurman Field, which got a big giant makeover, 20 years ago or so.
Which they're trying to do again because it's coming of age where they have to do something again out there or make a new park. And they're talking about doing that downtown Modesto. And everybody's like, we don't want to have Modesto on the hook for millions and millions of dollars. Well, you got to take a risk sometimes.
It's so much fun. Much fun to go to a ball game, I think.
Well, not only that, let's change downtown in that area that it's going to change. One of the problems is, I know we're on a totally different subject, but one of the issues, one of the people who just moved in that area just got the same eminent domain over by the overpass gone on 132. When the people had to move from over there, one of them moved over there and built a new building and everything. And now that's part of this whole project.
Well, I got a friend whose family, their estate, because now it's passed on to her and it'll be passed on to their kids, has made millions of dollars on having houses where Kaiser built over in San Jose. Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yeah.
How could that happen? It did happen to them. I know them personally. Millions, because they needed their house. First, it was the dad's house. Then it was the aunt's house. The aunt didn't have any kids, left it all. You know what I mean? And it's like, holy, how does that happen?
Well, that's eminent domain and everybody complains about it, but I'm helping somebody right now I was reached out from somebody from the county saying, hey, could you help these people get to where they need to go? Because they're a veteran family. And basically they were going to, you know, they bought this house so long ago, and basically they need it for this right of way or overpass or whatever. I'm not going to get into the whole details. And the appraisal from last year was one number, and for them to get a replacement property, you know, they doubled, almost I don't want to say triple, but doubled the number, and they still can't find a replacement property in this, you know, because it's got to be the same like acreage and the whole thing. And to find that, you know, they're up for in the 600 and some thousand, because it's a ranchette now, is really 800 and something. So they're like, hey, can you help them get an appraisal, you know, walk them through the process to help them so we can give them more money. I was like, that's, you know, you hear all the negative stuff about it, but then you hear the positive stuff like that, you know. I know, and they feel bad about having to move them, but you know, that's just what happens when you are right next to a road.
You're listening to Real Estate Jerky here on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV with our host, Ed Parko, MBA veteran, mortgage advisor, and president of Lending for Living. You can reach out to Ed at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915, or visit lendingforliving.com, or you can email us at radio@realestatejerky.com. Well, the cool thing about the Awesome Spot Playground is no one's getting displaced. No one's we have 150% gain in this amazing project. And but so Ed, that's the cool thing about what you do is you don't just help people get a mortgage. I mean, look at, like, you're talking about eminent domain, right. and because they're veterans. Is that how you got into the mix of it?
Because they're older. I mean, this guy, I need to have him on Helping the Brave, because I mean, he was I don't want to say undercover, but basically he was in with the Viet Cong and all that stuff, and he was, you know, working with the CIA. He was in the special
forces. Yeah.
Well, this unit, the special unit, nobody knew about, and this kind of stuff. And the, you know, the only issue is his accent is, you know, he's that, and it's hard to understand him. So I don't know, you know, it'd be hard for you to have to really listen to him. And, you know, he talked about it when he was in here with the stuff, and I'm like, wow, the stuff that people did, because it reminded me of that Stephen Anthony Malone, who actually was in the Turkish prisons for us finding Obama. You know, not Obama. I'm sorry, Bin Laden.
Yeah, Bin Laden finding
that Obama could have, you know, take the credit for shooting. Yeah. Move on.
Next.
How did I really feel?
Speaking of loans and stuff, I know we didn't talk about it because I had no internet. So wasn't I pretty cool and collected for somebody who's been struggling and waiting for my internet to come back on for the last 3 hours? I was pretty cool.
I did not know that. That's pretty good.
I didn't even text you crying or anything. I thought, keep it cool, girl. Keep it cool. If you're supposed to do this show's supposed to happen today. And I thought, you know,
you could have ran. You could have driven down here. I could have threw on another computer.
Well, it didn't. It finally came up with 17 minutes to go. I was like, nah.
Well, and that's really good.
It was kind of really close. I was like, I could drive to Ed's. That's going to be fun. But anyway, so for most of us, I think if you probably understand that because we have a different sound when we're coming across internet like this, as opposed to in the studio.
Yeah, it's better.
No, studio's much warmer sound. I'm not going there with you. You've learned sound. You know better than to say that. It does sound better when we
sound great. I don't care what you say. We sound great on the radio. I don't want to hear anything other than that, because come down here to this studio, come down to our studio, and we'll get you. You know, oh, actually, Mike just kept saying, we do.
But at any rate, we're doing this stuff. Ed's from his office. I'm from my home office. So we rely on a whole lot of technology here. And so some days it's like,
are you saying you use the auto tuner over there? Is that what you're saying?
Oh man. Oh yeah. This is my enhanced voice. Not to go along with my unenhanced face.
Anyway,
so we're super excited.
You know, but the other thing that with us right now is we have video. If you go to the Real Estate Jerky YouTube channel, you can see our videos from when we're on for the last 6-7 weeks, and going forward we'll have it because we have it set up and made really easy, where if we were in studio we wouldn't have that. And as I said that, my Wi-Fi got all crooked.
We were in the studio and we had video. Because you can see
but it's
when we started.
A lot.
Those are on the YouTube channel.
It took forever to get that done. So
It
Now
did. It
is
was a lot more complicated than this. Technology has come a long way. So what I was going to say is that's why we didn't get to talk and before. So do you want to talk real estate now and what's going on?
We'll do it at the end.
Do it at the end.
Yeah, because
Okay.
we just got a thing from our engineer. We're running out of time on this side.
Okay. So all right. Well then let's get it ready to bring our little guests in. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not little, they're big guys, they're amazing guys. Where am I?
We're going out.
I'm going out. As we mentioned, we're excited to have the Awesome Spot Playground architect on to talk about the construction start. So I'd be thinking if I were you, well, if you're a contractor or know a contractor, you need to stay with us because we definitely need you and we need them. And you'll find out why. So if you have any questions or comments right now, you can dial our host, Ed Parko, at 209-404-1915 or email us at radio@realestatejerky.com. The Awesome Spot Playground is becoming a reality and it's time to do something. So stay right there. Well, welcome back. I'm Marlene Champlin, sidekick to our amazing host, Ed Parko, here at Real Estate Jerky on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV, where we always give you something to chew on. And today I'm super excited because we've got something really big and amazing. And questions or comments, because you're going to have some for Ed, you just dial 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915 or visit lendingforliving.com. We've got two very important people as guests today. Craig Harris, general contractor and president of Harris Builders Incorporated, and Chad Kennedy, who's been on the show before, who's the principal landscape architect with Odell Engineering, and he's designer of the Awesome Spot Playground. Good day to you both, Chad and Craig. Thanks for coming.
Hey, thank you for joining us today, because there are two of you and we have such a limited amount of time. But, we'll have you both back for Facebook Live next week. We'll figure out whether it's Tuesday or Thursday before you go. But today I want to turn to you two, Lou, so you can share what's coming for the Awesome Spot Playground and what you need. Chad, let's start with you as the park designer and founding member of the Awesome Spot Playground Committee. What is the Awesome Spot Playground for people who never heard the show before?
Yeah, well, the Awesome Spot Playground, it's an enormous step for the city of Modesto, truthfully. The playground is designed specifically so that we can remove barriers from a typical play experience so that everybody can enjoy it together, right? And there's nothing like that in our region. And so it's a really exciting time for the community of Modesto to be able to bring something of this nature to our area. There's nothing anywhere close that comes near what we're trying to accomplish with this. And that really, if you take it down to just one sentence, it's bringing everybody together and allowing everybody to play in a space regardless of the abilities that they might have.
Great. Thank you, Chad. Craig, how and why did you get involved with the Awesome Spot Playground?
Wow, that's a loaded question, because this is just I saw an opportunity to give of my time and do something that I know how to do, and that the community is going to benefit from. I've been involved in something like this before, or a project like this before, and it just had an incredible impact on my life. So I saw an opportunity to be involved in something, and I jumped at it.
Wow. What are the aspects of the Awesome Spot Playground and make the difference types of construction projects? Did you get that question? It was a long one. What are the aspects of the Awesome Spot Playground that make it different type of construction project? Sorry, I had to say it twice. It's such a long question.
Chad, you or me?
Well, I think I'll start, Greg, and then maybe you can follow up and fill in the holes. I think what makes it so different is that this is community driven, right? This isn't a typical public works project. It's community driven. We've fundraised for it. There has been support from the municipal governments in the area, but this is really going to be built by the community. And so bringing everyone from the community together, whether that's designers or Rotary clubs or contractors, tradesmen, whoever it is, everybody has skill sets that can be helpful. And, my skill sets have been really helpful to getting us to this point. But, once we get into the construction side, there's skill sets out there that I don't have and that we really need from the community to help us build it. Miss anything, Craig?
You're listening to Real Estate Jerky here on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV with today's guests, Craig Harris, general contractor and president of Harris Builders, Inc., and Chad Kennedy, principal landscape architect of Vodell Engineering and the designer of the Awesome Spot Playground. If you're a contractor and you want to reach out, or you're a donor or a volunteer that wants to get involved with the Awesome Spot Playground, it's easy. You just visit the awesomespotplayground.com. That's the awesomespotplayground.com. And somebody will get a hold of you really quick. There's a whole bunch of us on that. So Craig, what is it that when Chad talks about this not being your typical public works project, what is it that makes it so different? And the big reason why we're on today, because we're putting out to contractors out there the big news and the fact that we need them. So explain it, could you please?
So I think that, a public works project, first of all, is a taxpayer funded project. This is not a taxpayer funded project other than the parts that are donated from municipalities and counties, which we do have a substantial gift from our local municipalities and counties. But a typical public works job is, you're in it for the money. Contractors that are going to get involved in this are going to be in it for the opportunity to be involved in the community and to give back. And that is an opportunity. And I want to say it just like that. This is a great chance for local contractors who are either are not in situations where they or their manpower, their employees, can give to the community. And this is going to be an opportunity for them to do that. And we're going to provide them a pathway to do that. So that's the big difference. And as I alluded to earlier, and maybe I didn't allude to it, but being involved in projects like this have changed my life. And I think that if others have, if I can provide a pathway for others to do the same, I want to. It really is a great opportunity for contractors from our area to do something long lasting, possibly 50 years or more into the future, that their manpower and they can contribute to. So that's how it's different.
And you know what, Craig, I'm going to step in here for a minute because you and I have worked together on the Virginia corridor, the big trail that goes all the way through our fair city of Modesto. It was a big deal. We started with that piece there behind Roseburg Square, but it was the first project in Modesto where we did a park partner project the way you're talking about. Well, instead of being public funded, it was on public land, which is what we have here with the Awesome Spot Playground, but built with your guidance. You came in there and did it, and now you have all that experience. And I was very happy that you were happy that you wanted to come in and do it again with this one, the Awesome Spot Playground, because it's a lot bigger project than the corridor was, right?
That's right. This is it's 5 times as big as that quarter mile of the Virginia corridor was. As far as money wise, it's size of a project. It's about 5 times as big. But that project was an amazing opportunity for me, which I did not know at the time that it was an opportunity. But it evolved into that. And that's what this can be for others. And Chad and I have been working really hard on trying to break this project up in a way that really a lot of people can get involved in, that usually cannot be involved in a standard public works project.
Wow.
I can-
I'm just thinking, I'm
Sorry.
sorry, Craig. I thought you were done there for a second, but finish your thought.
Well, I don't really know how radio works. So when I realized I was leaving dead airtime as I was thinking,
That's okay.
Um,
It's not,
anyway.
It wasn't that long. It was
Right.
I'm just thinking, I know who to blame why I have a new dog. So,
because
oh,
you
what?
have a new dog to walk on the Virginia corridor.
No, I found him 2 Thursdays ago, tied up to one of the exercise equipment out there. Someone had left him. And
Oh
at,
my
late
goodness.
at night. Yeah, and it was 46 degrees out, and he was a pit bull, and everybody's like, "Is this your dog? Is this your dog?" And on my walk back, because I do a 4-mile thing there, and I nobody would pick him up, and they couldn't get him, so I took him home, cleaned him up, put him on Facebook. Nobody wants him, and so we have a new dog. So, but thanks to you for that Virginia corridor. That's why I know you two who to.
Thanks to a lot of people. A lot of people had
Oh,
got that rolling, and a lot of people are going to get this going. This is not, although I will say Odell's Odell Engineering and Chad have done an incredible job in developing this plan, and the work that has taken place. This project's 6 years in the making right now. I've only been around for a few months, and my involvement's only been for a few months, and this is going to take a lot of people to complete. We're a long ways from starting, but we're at the beginning of the start, and it's exciting.
Wow.
Yeah. So stay right there, because woo, yes, I've had some really great days in my life. I have. But I have to say that the day that I get to sit on the wheelchair modified swing or slide down the modified slide with my friend Tommy Laredo and all my grandkids on it, it's probably going to be one of the best days of my life. And you know what? I can say with confidence that if you're listening and you're not already involved, I'm telling you, it will be one of the best days of your life too. So get involved. You're a contractor, one. We're going out to bid, and these guys know what they're doing. They're amazing. And you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. And you don't want to miss out on what the rest of this is about. So you're going to have questions and comments. You can reach out to theawesomespotplayground.com. That's theawesomespotplayground.com. Chad Kennedy is the principal landscape architect at Odell Engineering. Craig Harris Builders. You can find those guys too. Or you can reach out to Ed at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915, because we're here at Real Estate Jerky, always giving you something to chew on. So you don't want to go away. Stay right where you're at. This is Real Estate Jerky on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV. I'm Marlene Champlin, sidekick to our fantastic host, Ed Parko, MBA, veteran, mortgage guru, and president of Lending for Living, helping you become part of the most amazing thing, really amazing, coming to Modesto and Stanislaus County. And that's the Awesome Spot Playground with our guests, Craig Harris, general contractor and president of Harris Builders, Inc., and Chad Kennedy, principal landscape architect with Odell Engineering and designer of the Awesome Spot Playground. When we went to break, we were talking about, Craig, you were telling us about how this project affects you, how doing these kinds of private public works-ish hybrid with volunteer and all this for contractors. What kind of contractors are you looking for? What do we need to do this project?
Well, so we're going out to bid within the next month and a half, and the first part of the project, we're going to need underground contractors, fencers, electricians, earth movers, concrete contractors. That is our initial phase one of our project. And does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Yes. Because if you're listening, and we've been saying contractors, now they're listening, whoever's got friends or they're actually contractors thinking, okay, it's a playground, and you're trying to think what all goes into it. Because really, Craig, how many contractors are building playgrounds? Chad, you could probably answer that too. You're an architect. You do all the designs. I mean, there haven't been, because of COVID and everything, there haven't been that many projects actually being built like this, right? None like this.
Chad.
Not in our region for sure, right? In different areas of the state, there have been projects moving along, but this is special for our region. Definitely.
I hate to digress, but I want to for a minute, since we touched on it. Where is the closest thing to something like the Awesome Spot Playground? Where in state of California?
Livermore is probably the closest, and then to the south, maybe Madera. So you got a ways to go in order to get to a playground that focuses on something like this. Yeah.
But they're not of the size or the scope of this one.
No, this is a little bit more ambitious than that for sure.
And what we're talking about is all-inclusive, meaning children with disabilities, like whatever those disabilities or those special needs are, of any kind, sight, hearing, movement, even a mental and emotional capacities, can play together with other people without those same challenges, right? That's the point.
Yeah, we're talking about physical disabilities, sensory processing disorders, children on the autism spectrum. We're thinking about everybody, so that there are no barriers that would typically keep us from enjoying spaces like that together.
And you can see all this equipment, and you can see the actual plans at the awesomespotplayground.com. Back to Craig. So we need that list.
What's the process for bidding? It's out for bid. I mean, how do the people get involved to do this? If they want to do the concrete work, if they want to do so, how do they get involved and let you know this?
I'll take it. You're
the contractor.
It will advertise at the Builders Exchange in about 1 month. We're opening our advertisement at the Builders Exchange. At that point, the bid will be about a month from that point, and we will have two mandatory pre-bid meetings, which contractors will only have to attend one, and then we'll have the bid. But unlike most public works contractors can only allow for one electrician on their project, one underground. Public contract code only allows one classification of subcontractor per scope. But because we're partnering with private money and volunteer work, we're going to divide those up. So there's going to be a much more opportunity on this job than any other public works project. And again, the opportunity is the chance to be involved, because it will be a privilege to be involved. So
I love the way
there's going to be plenty of advertising for the bid.
Right. And you're saying, because people will remember that you were involved, and they'll remember you because you're involved.
Yeah, as a builder. And you're listening to Real Estate Jerky here on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV with today's guests, Craig Harris, a general contractor and president of Harris Builders, Inc., and Chad Kennedy, principal landscape architect at Odell Engineering and the Awesome Spot Playground designer. You're a contractor and you want to reach out, or you're a donor or a volunteer that wants to get involved with the Awesome Spot Playground. It's easy. Just visit theawesomespotplayground.com. That's theawesomespotplayground.com. Or you can reach out to Ed if you have more questions. Ed's a donor as well as been involved, and he'll be a volunteer out there for what we're talking about, some of those actual hands-on, get your fingers dirty, or things like that projects that'll be available. You can reach out to Ed at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915, or get yourself pre-approved so you can buy a home that's in the neighborhood of the Awesome Spot Playground, because that's something we're going to talk about after these gentlemen leave. The fact that values go up when things like this are built. So let's go back. Chad. So Craig's done a great job of talking about how contractors can be involved. Tell us how volunteers or donors, sponsors can get involved.
Well, there's plenty of opportunities, really, to tell you the truth. We do have a recycling event coming up on Earth Day. So that's a great opportunity to bring whatever recyclables you have so that we can kind of get that match from O'Brien's and help us in that regard. We've been doing that for years now, and we appreciate everybody that comes out to do that. We also have other events that are coming up where you can take advantage of events, fundraising potential and opportunities. Look at the website that Marlene's been sharing with you. We have all of those listed on the website. So great place to go to get all the information. We're still looking for people to just help in any regard, right? Like I mentioned earlier, we all have our own skill sets, and however we can help, if that's just sharing the word, if that's contacting and putting us in contact with corporate sponsors, all those things, we still could use that assistance and still need that help. We're moving forward with construction, but that doesn't mean that the rest of the effort goes on pause. We still need to keep that momentum moving and keeping moving forward. So we have construction, the bidding starting mid next month, and then the bid actually happening in mid-April, and activities and events happening all throughout that time period as well. So stay tuned. Lots going on.
When do you guys think they'll be moving the dirt? No, is that a hard question? I'm sorry.
No, it's not no, we think that initial construction will begin, we are hoping within the next 6 weeks. And that initial construction, the initial ground moving will begin by the city of Modesto. So that's what we're anticipating. We're not in control of that, but we are a part of it.
And they're excited. The city of Modesto, they're excited. Everybody's very excited. I mean, there's no foot dragging here. This project, COVID was a part of its slowdown. When you say, Chad, I mean, there's no foot dragging. It's how many millions of dollars a project. Just expand on that a little bit before we have to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of momentum going on right now. We have support from the county's board of supervisors, from the city council, from city staff, everybody. We meet regularly, and they're all on board trying to make this thing happen. So there's no lack of enthusiasm when it comes to that. We've raised a lot of money for this, enough to get us started with the private side of this construction. And so that's a huge step, right? I mean, that's an amazing milestone for this project. And 6 years ago, did I think it would take 6 years to get to that? No, but COVID was a huge dent for everybody and everything that was happening in the world. And so there was a slowdown there, but the momentum has really picked right back up, and we're moving forward. Don't try to stop us.
When it takes 20 to 25 years to build a housing tract in Modesto, 6 months is nothing. So,
Amen.
or 6 years. 6 years.
6 years. Amen, brother. That's a good way to look at it. So if you're a contractor or donor or volunteer, this is your chance to go all the way and change Modesto and Stanislaus County for good forever. So get involved with the building of the Awesome Spot Playground, please. So reach out to today's guests. And I want to thank them. You guys did such an amazing job. Craig Harris, general contractor and president of Harris Builders, Inc., and Chad Kennedy, principal landscape architect, Odell Engineering. And if you've got any more, you want to see more, really, seriously, go to the awesomespotplayground.com. It's an amazing website. There's all kinds of great things there. You can see the plans, the types of equipment, all the donors, sponsors. It's very ambitious. It's an incredible project. There's nothing like it. You're going to be part of something that will change your life and the lives of kids and parents in this area for many, many years. If you'd like to call Ed and get pre-approved to get that house over to that neighborhood, then you can do that at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. Get an amazing realtor referral too while you're at it from Ed. And we're going to talk some more about this and real estate when we come back. So don't go away. Welcome back to Real Estate Jerky here on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV, where we always give you something to chew on. I'm Marlene Champlin, sidekick to our amazing host, Ed Parco, MBA veteran and president of Lending for Living and donor and volunteer for the Awesome Spot Playground that we were just talking about. I'm excited. I can't help but be excited. I love when these projects go off. For me, this is going to be the fourth project that I've been involved with over the years in the community where we used recycling to raise funds. And it's very exciting. It's a small part of the fundraising. There are so many people. One was the dog park that's over on Morris. The Virginia Corridor was another one. The Wesson Ranch Playground, which is over off Union. And now the Awesome Spot Playground. It's amazing. It's so much fun. So I'm excited. I'm
You were
super
involved in all
excited.
those, right?
I was. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have been. So Craig, that's how Craig and I realized we were 6 years, we were five, almost six, going into sixth year with the Awesome Spot. And I realized we need to get this thing done. I can't, we got to get it done. All these kids who volunteered for all these years, Tommy Laredo is now almost he is a teenager. And it's like, we need to build it. We need to see it. We need to move the dirt. How do we do this? So the Virginia Corridor was tough like that years ago when we built that. It was very difficult to get it going. I had from the day Southern Pacific donated that ground, myself and four other Rotarians had almost 5 years into doing the infrastructure and setting up a park partner program with City of Modesto before we ever pulled the spike and removed the tracks. 5 years of our lives.
Was that because of the city?
It didn't exist. It didn't exist. There was no avenue to be able to, no pathway to be able to build a public works project with private funding and not have prevailing wage and all of those things and not use volunteers and all. You can't do that in a typical public works project.
Oh,
and
so
that's something that on your face. So what had to happen is we had to set up within the infrastructure of legally and the City of Modesto and all of those things, we had to set up a pathway to be able to optimize our contractors, optimize our resources, make the best of the funds that we get. So these kinds of projects for the corridor, for example, the piece we built back then, when we were finished with the starting piece behind Rosebud Square, if we would have done that back then, I think the numbers were like, it would have been like 700. No, I can't, Craig would have been better for this. I'm the one that I don't raise funds. They just tell me the money. How much money do we need to raise?
And I think the biggest thing to show is the fact that government gets involved, gets in the way of a lot of projects that need to get done for the community because they have certain rules in place that the government had put in place so things are fair, when in reality that fairness hurts things, is basically what you're saying.
Sometimes. And I mean, and
I didn't say every time, but pretty much.
I mean, just the bonds, like having the bonds, having the bonds. This project, the Awesome Spot Playground, there'd be over almost $200,000 worth of bonds alone. We don't have to do. So there's $200,000 we're saving it, doing it with the park partner program. Right. Does that mean we're not going to be diligent about who gets involved? Well, of course we are, but we don't, it's private versus public. It just becomes a little bit different beast. And so that's one of the things.
That's why I'm always against big government and smaller government, and let's privatize the post office so we get our mail on time and it's cheaper.
No, don't go there without the mail. You're listening to Real Estate Jerky here on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV with our amazing host. You just fired me up. We almost went through the whole show without you getting me fired up, and you didn't even mean to. Oh man, the post office. You can reach out to Ed, who's not the post office. He's an amazing mortgage lender who gets you pre-approved so you can get into that house, which we're going to talk about right now. There are homes to buy. You can reach out to Ed at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915, or go to lendingforliving.com, or you can email us at radio@realestatejerky.com. So buying houses, I made jokes, but I'm not joking. Buying over by where they're building the Awesome Spot Playground is not a bad idea. And
buying
so
anywhere is a great idea. Not a bad idea. It's a great idea. What I'm getting at is more and more people are trying to buy houses, and there's less and less houses. But you have to remember, don't be discouraged. You'll get into your house. It's just going to take time,
And a good realtor.
Right. Well,
And a
another
good
thing is,
realtor.
I talked about this. I think we're doing a live on it. We did a live on Thursday about what are you going to be willing to compromise to get the house, right? Everybody wants that perfect house, the perfect thing the first time. Well, because of the prices you're paying, you think it should be not an issue. Well, if you're nitpicky, you're not going to get the house you want. You're going to not get a home. You have to be okay. It's like, I was telling somebody, it's like making that list of what you want in the other person while you're dating. So you only date what you want, and you figure out what you can compromise on. Like I did with mine. My wife's not 5'9", she's 5'4", but she was everything else on my list. That's okay. So that's what you need to do when you're going out shopping for a home. What do you want? I want a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Well, what if it's only a 4-bedroom, 2 bath? Are you okay with that? Can you add that? That's the things you have to be okay with and figure out while you're shopping for a home. Because if you're sticking to a certain thing, you're not, everybody's fighting for everything. And it's harder. Everything's more expensive now. I mean, the FHA loan limit in our area is 460. That means FHA is 478. The only time it was higher than that was during the downturn in the Great Recession, where the government said, okay, we'll do FHAs up to 699 during this period of time only to get people into homes. So crazy stuff.
And somebody was asking me this yesterday, and Ed, you can answer it better than I can. So we had the downturn, we were coming out of it. Like when we started the show, which was 2018, things were still low, much lower than they are today, much lower.
Yeah,
How much percentage? Like, what would that be? 70% lower, 60% lower,
at least.
So their contention was that this is an illusion, or what do you call? Anyway, that this isn't a real, all this. Where were those people? Where did they come from? Why weren't they buying then? Well, they weren't buying then. That was the whole point. That's why we started the show. But they were here and they weren't buying.
I think they were just eligible. A lot of people. Well, a lot of them, you got to remember, a lot of people went foreclosure. A lot of people went bankrupt, a lot of people. And so you have these years of time, you can't buy a home during those period of time. That was like 14 and 15. A lot of people went bankrupt during that period of time. So then they couldn't buy till 18, or they couldn't buy till 17. So that's the big issue that you're dealing with, is you can't go by that. And then some people who had the pipeline back east, where they shut it down the last time when that administration was in, and everybody went bankrupt from that, and all those homes went foreclosure. And I think it was North Dakota or South Dakota. They took 5 years before it actually processed the foreclosures. So you could be better 5 years from now, but then that foreclosure happened. And now you have to wait that period of time after that, which is, 2 years and 3 years and 4 years, depending on the loan programs. So that's the reason people were coming out of this whole thing hurt. And so they weren't able to buy until, now 18 on and crazy. And that's where we are. We're in this point of time that's going to stay like this for a very long time. And unfortunately, like we always say, this hour goes too fast.
Man.
And it's at that time. Thanks for joining us today. And I want to put a big thank you out to today's guest, Craig Harris, General Contractor and President of Harris Builders Incorporated, and Chad Kennedy, Principal Landscape Architect at Odell Engineer Incorporated, and the Awesome Spot Playground Designer. Reach out to them and get involved at the awesomespotplayground.com. That's the awesomespotplayground.com. If you missed any of today's show, you can catch us on our podcast anywhere you get your favorite podcast app, or via the iHeart app on your mobile device. We'll continue visiting with more of our candidates for Congress and Senate and Assembly. Joel Campus, candidate for California State Assembly, District 22, joins us next. And more, one of the reasons our elections have been all over the place is for lack of knowledge. And we're going to make sure you have that knowledge moving forward. So please keep a cool head and be safe out there. Remember, we're all proud to live in this land of opportunity where you can still build personal wealth through home ownership. We'll keep bringing you something to chew on here at Real Estate Jerky. We'll be broadcasting Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 10 a.m. Super Bowl went and came, and I guess some people were happy that the Bengals didn't win. But anyway, either way, you can always find us, like I said, on our podcast. Hey, Marlene, thanks for being here today.
Hey, Ed, thanks very much. Hey, nice studio over there. We talked about it in the beginning, but yeah, your smokehouse studio. So maybe we'll tell everybody about that real soon.
All right, and my MLS license number is 235-384, and we'll talk to you next week.